Hello, we are watching Climate's Effect Day 2 video, and so we had some warm-up questions. Go ahead and see if you can answer these questions on your own, and you can pause the video, and then I'll go through them right now. So, a blank is a helpful chart used to identify organisms. It's arranged in steps, each with two descriptive statements. So think back, we actually did this to identify pasta and some other things as well. That's going to be a dichotomous key where you're asked two questions and you have to make a choice, and then you are directed to a new question. All right, number 2, every organism is given its own unique scientific name. That two-part naming system is called, so you want to remember two parts. It's either going to be die. Die is also for two when we have two descriptive statements. You can also use the prefix by, so we're going to use by for two, and then nomial, nome, for naming. So we have binomial nomenclature, to name, naming. All right, and then if we think about the four kingdoms that are under the domain Eukarya, those are the ones with an actual nucleus. We have Animalia, Plantae, Fungi, and Protista. So that's thinking back to much earlier this year. Not so important if you're at home, but on Wednesday and Thursday of this week we had a different schedule, so you can pause the video if you want to see the schedule. What are we learning? Today we're learning characteristics of different terrestrial ecosystems around the world. So that means it's land-based, right? Terrestrial is land-based. And why are we doing that? It's so that we can understand the causes and effects of climate. And we can talk about how ecosystems compare and how organisms are adapted to live in their ecosystems. That is our big idea. All right, so you can think about all of these squirrels and figure out which one represents you today. Which one represents you today. And so I was asking everybody to remember what are latitude lines. So those are the ones that are parallel. They used to actually be called parallels, and they go horizontally across our globe. And they tell you this dashed line is going to be the equator. So these lines are telling you how far north of the equator you are, or how far south of the equator you are. All right. So, and I just said this, latitude measures the distance from this equator right across the center of the globe. All right. The equator is represented by what number of degrees? Well, it's 0 because that's our starting point. So it's also a little bit like absolute values with numbers. But instead of having positive numbers in one direction and negative numbers in one direction, we have maybe 10 degrees north, 30 degrees north, 80 degrees north, 90 degrees north. Or we can do the same thing but going south. So we can have, 25 degrees south and 75 degrees south, and 90 degrees south is going to get you to that pole. The equator is always at 0 degrees because that's your starting point. Okay, so we're going to think about adaptations just for a little bit. An adaptation is something that a plant has or an animal has, or it's something that the plant or animal does that makes it better able to live in its environment, something that helps it survive where it is supposed to be living. Okay, so it's all about survival. So you can have adaptations that are physical, change the actual physical plant or animal, or you can have behavioral adaptations. So how is the animal or plant going to behave? So let's look at some examples. If we have a structure on a plant or an animal that is helping it survive, that's one of its physical adaptations. Okay, a structure a plant has that helps it survive, a structure that helps it survive is going to be an adaptation that's physical. And so, whoopsie daisy, sorry, I didn't mean to click on that. This guy has big ears that might help him dissipate heat, or they might help him hear things better to avoid predators. This is a stick bug. And so its physical adaptation is that it looks physically just like the stick that it's on. So it is camouflaged, right? It's hard to see. This guy is also camouflaged and matches its area that it lives in as well. So those are structures, those are physical adaptations. Okay, spiky needles on a cactus or webbed feet, a long trunk over here on our elephant. These guys are furry and white. And on this plant, we have a very long, weak, pliable stem. And we have large floating leaves. So we don't think about adaptations quite as much on plants. But this is going to allow your big leaf to get a lot of sunlight. And since it's in water, it's going to be able to float around in the water as the water is moving. Okay, and then what do you think that guy has? He has sharp, pointy teeth. So these are all physical adaptations that help these creatures live. All right, other physical adaptations. This giraffe has a very, very long neck. This moth has markings on it that look like scary eyes. And so that's going to deter predators. That's going to scare some predators away because they think those are eyes on a bigger creature. Our dolphin has its fins, and we have this eagle has a particularly pointy beak and nice sharp talons so that it can catch and eat its prey. And we have different features on leaves. Sometimes they are waxier to help them not release quite as much water. And some animals like camels, they have humps where they have adapted and they actually have fat bodies, I believe, that are helping them to stay hydrated. And then down here you can see that we have this mangrove. I bet this is a mangrove with really widely spread out roots that are going to allow it to be secure in a water or aquatic environment. These are all physical adaptations. So behavioral adaptations are actions that a plant or animal can do that will help it survive. So we got our mole. It's going to burrow down into, it's going to make itself a little hole. So that's how it's going to hide from predators, right? And these plants, one of their behavioral adaptations is they will actually grow toward the sun. So we have migration of birds. Migration is also behavioral. It's something that those birds are doing, a way that they are behaving. All right, so we have another bear hibernating here. That is a behavior. And we have, I think I would debate our Venus flytrap being behavioral and physical, because obviously that's a physical ability. So we have this plant is actually stretching out its little tendrils so that it can get support from nearby other trees and twigs and things. We have herd mentality. So if these animals run around in a herd, they are actually protecting each other by being in a big group. And we have some behavioral adaptations with our dolphin over here also, or our bat, where they are behaving. Again, I would also say some of that sonar is going to be physical, so some of that's both. All right. Behavioral adaptations. When animals work in groups, they are going to help each other survive. I'm going to pause my video. All right, so I'm going to click on ahead and let you think. Some of these are behavioral and some of these are physical. So if a group of organisms or animals migrate, move to a different place, that's going to be behavior. Okay, if they hibernate or sleep and they become inactive during the winter, that is a behavior. So some polar bear adaptations, think about this, just looking at them. They have small ears so that they are reducing their heat loss. They have thick white fur. That thick white fur helps keep them warm and also camouflages them in the snow. They have a nice thick layer of fat so that they are insulated for warmth. And their paws are very, very large. Sorry, every time I move my cursor down there, it clicks on the wrong thing. But large paws are going to help them stop sinking into the snow. And of course, they have sharp teeth so that they can eat their prey pretty easily. All right, so another thing that I want you to take a look at before you begin your biomes packet work, you're going to see some graphs like this one. This is a climatograph. Okay, it's like climate, right? Climate. So it's a graph that shows average precipitation and temperature over time for a specific location. So down here, you always want to look at your axes, right? And if there's a title, read your title. My bottom axis, my x-axis here, this is actually January, February, March, April, May. See, it's all the months of a year. So we're looking over 1 year. And if we look at the blue bars, we're looking at precipitation. So in the month of January, we had precipitation of about maybe 260 millimeters of probably rain, but we're not sure, right? So the blue bars are showing that I had much more precipitation here in March and April. I had less precipitation in July. On the right side, you can see we actually have this red title that says temperature. This is degrees Celsius. And so this these are lines in red. These are telling you the temperatures, the average temperatures for the month. So in January, our average temperature on red over here, I would come to the right side, and I'd see it's like 27 degrees Celsius maybe. So you can see it's actually a pretty steady temperature throughout the year. Our rainfall goes up and down depending on the month, but the temperature's relatively steady. Now think about degrees Celsius, because we know this is degrees Celsius. In last class we talked about degrees Celsius. What is the room temperature? If it's about 20 degrees Celsius, that's about 68 degrees. That's like kind of our normal room temperature. So you think 25, 27 degrees, that's going to be fairly warm, okay, if we put that in terms of Fahrenheit. All right. So I'm going to make some inferences about where this might be. I know that where I live, we have more rain as we are in the spring, and we have less rain in June, July, August. It's drier for sure, right? So I'm thinking where we live, though, we do not have a constant temperature, right? So also, we probably don't have quite that much rainfall. So I'm going to think also, I know that temperature is going to be too hot for it to be like an Arctic tundra or a cold weather area. That's pretty warm. So it's going to be close to the equator. This is going to be a tropical rainforest. We have a lot of rain in the tropical rainforest, and our temperature is pretty steady because it's right around the equator, and it's pretty warm, steady and warm. So this is representing the tropical rainforest. You'll see some other climatographs while you are doing your work in the website over the next couple days. Okay, so here's what you're going to do. You've got a packet that you have been handed, and so you are now going to explore ecosystems on the website that is linked in Schoology. You can do these different biomes or ecosystems in any order. The very first page you start with is rainforest. So if you want to just start with rainforest, that is great. But you can do these in any order. All right. So you'll notice that once you get into the Google site up at the top, you can see tundra, taiga, deciduous forest, grasslands, tropical rainforest, desert, and finished. You're not finished yet, of course, but you can click on any one of these so that you can get more information about that specific ecosystem or biome. All right, in your packet, remember again, your first page, the front page is going to be tropical rainforest. You're going to put your name and the class period. This is tropical rainforest, so as you answer these questions, you want to make sure you're on that Google site on the tropical rainforest tab, right? So you would have to click right here on tropical rainforest. Okay, you are going to write your name on the packet and you're going to explore those biomes. I'm going to back up just so I can talk. So each one of these columns tells you, if you look at the top, it tells you kind of what you're looking for. So there's a video when you go to that Google site. The video is where you're going to find the answers for these questions. And then you can click around for location and climate and get information to answer there. Other biome characteristics, you're going to read through and you're going to pick 2 or 3 biome characteristics to share. And then I want you to look for plant and animal adaptations. So we might talk about that in class. We might have some examples set out for you to look at. Not live animals or plants, but pictures, of course. And then VR is for virtual reality. So there is a virtual reality tab when you're in your Google site that you can use to explore the biome or ecosystem you're looking at. All right. So complete those biomes in any order. We'll take about half an hour of class today. And when you finish one whole biome, you can come and show me your packet. Show me that you have done that whole page, and I will give you the top secret code that you can use so that you can complete your biomes checkpoint. It's a lot like the exit tickets that we're used to, but it's going to be listed in your Schoology. If you are absent, you might have to email to get the special code to get in there. But you're going to do information on your page in your packet. Information. Once this whole page is complete, you can come and say, I would like the passcode for the tropical rainforest checkpoint. All right. So again, you have to complete all the steps on that Google site before you can have your check-in code. Then you can move on to your next biome. All right. It's actually not going to look quite like this. It says on mine, it says, what does it say? Current lab, and it says climate's effect. So we are looking at climate's effect for days 6 and 7, and you're going to look for where I have the climate's effect Google site. So my folders are labeled a little differently. By all means, let me know if you can't find the Google site. All right. So work on that and check in so that you can get your top secret codes so that you can do your check-ins. Okay, and we'll have a little brain break in class, so if you're at home, you can pause the video. I'm certainly not going to keep this on the whole time, but I'll do it super fast so you can pause the video. Or maybe it's not going to show. Okay. Oh, there it is. Okay, so hopefully you got to see a little bit of that brain break. Oh no. Sorry, hold on. So, one more time, you are going to explore these terrestrial biomes today. You can complete the biomes in any order, and you just need to make sure you're following the steps for the biome in their proper order once you're on that Google site. So, you have to do all the steps for that biome and take the check in before you get to move on. And this is just a reminder, so I don't know why it has doubled me up on these. Um, Good, we are finished. At the end of day 2, the first day that you have the packet, I'm actually going to have you turn in your packets and leave them in the classroom, just so you know that. So thank you for watching.